have been on a bit of a downward spiral, so going to be looking to reverse this against Reason Gaming, who looked in fine fettle yesterday, including Crucial, who was dropping bombs, something crazy, and it was a joy to watch. And joining me for this action is going to be Broad again, so welcome back, buddy. How are you feeling for this one?
Excited. Although maybe the day's a little bit daunting today, Mark. From what I understand, we have 3 best of 3s coming up for these people, and well, that means that we were supposed to be starting at 2. We're probably going to be finishing around 11 if everything goes 3 maps. But still hyped to see where this is going to be going. Hyped to see how these teams are actually going to be doing, because as you said, Orgless yesterday weren't looking so hot, and I think that might be why we're seeing this map. I think they've picked Nuke as a little bit of a Hail Mary, just chuck it out there, see if they can win it, and it's a good chance, you know? If they have even a little bit of practice on this map, they're going to be better than probably 80% of the teams out there. So, maybe this is going to be map number 1 to them.
Yeah, possibly. It's a bit of a roll of the dice, and you know, it's a shame really, because I really like Nuke and always have. Inferno, kind of enjoy it from a player standpoint, but yeah, maybe not so much from the watching standpoint, but you know, from a commentary position, I think Nuke can throw a few surprises in the mix, and you know, there are a few aspects where you can get pick versus pick, sort of outside into ramp, and you will see some pretty YOLO strats, pushes into upper, that kind of thing, which can either fail miserably or sometimes work out. And you know, there are a few interesting little characteristics that crop up here, and it's a shame that people haven't really jumped on the new Nuke quite as much as I would have liked, but and it's going to be an interesting prospect here between these two teams. You know, it comes down to a lot about how you hold the outside on CT side, and also making sure that you've got things locked down on the inside and looking for the rotates as well. So all these dynamics that we're going to see unfolding pretty quickly. Mighty Max, he's already seen Crucial, who has hopped down towards the back steps. Rattlesnake has been taken down to 8 points of health in the meantime as this first round is underway. And at the moment, Reason not looking to commit to anything too quickly. You know, you might be tempted to go for armor and Glocks and just charge somewhere en masse into ramp or into upper, but you know, maybe going to save that for an eco strat later on if they need to. Keita might have a potential play on Release, who is trying to get aggro, and he's in a bit of trouble now if they chase him down, and they do. And that is a trade. The trade probably in favour of the terrorists, just to a point, but you know, it now does fall with favour in swinging in the way of August. Pulse down to 1 HP, Rattlesnake on 8 though, so they're pretty soft.
There's definitely a chance for Reason to get something done here, but as you said, a little bit of a disadvantage. 1 man down until this happens. Keita and Reason managing to pick up 1 apiece right now, leaving PT and Mighty Max as the 2 remaining, and Mighty Max is going to be close up, but PT is a while away. Actually, now just getting to sight, looking to see what he can do, but he's going to be the last man left. And he doesn't even get a chance, Mark. There's nothing there. Very unfortunate indeed. Beautiful little comeback from Reason, considering the way that started off. And maybe, I don't know, I don't want to be too quick to judge, but maybe a sign of things to come.
Yeah, maybe. I guess it's one of those though, where if you're playing on T side, you know, you probably have a slender advantage. But you know, the only reason to say that is the silence USP. If you find a headshot, you are going to pick up the kill, but you need to be able to find that headshot. And you know, the amount of times where I've found myself spamming all around someone's Crucial, ends up picking up the frag on Rattlesnake outside, and he's got the second strike away. His pulse pops up underneath, and Crucial just has this uncanny ability to find frags wherever he goes. He is caught by PT in the end, but he's done some pretty serious damage to PT as well. 1 nade up into Nest, which is coming in from Keita. Is going to take him out, and Connor kind of steals it from him, if nothing else, as whether he gets one, leaving 1 man left. That's Mighty Max, who's cleaned up. So pretty much a flawless, aside from Crucial, who went down and pretty much cleaned out the outside, flying solo. Opened up the door for his team to come through, and they're probably going to piggyback through to the next round as well, but you know, more often than not, I see Nuke starts off in favour of the T's, and then when it comes to a buy versus buy, and the pace has to slow down on your T side, maybe that's a chance. But what we saw from Reason on Dust 2 last night, when they're playing fast, they do not mess around, and that could be interesting if that's the strategy they adopt on Nuke.
I mean, that's exactly why I said maybe a sign of things to come. If these guys are in the same form they're in yesterday, we're going to be seeing great things from them, and already Crucial does seem to be there. 3 frags in this round so far. Connor picking up 1, and it's actually going to be 4 for Crucial at the end of it. I think him and Weber, specifically, if they step up, then we could be seeing a little bit of a repeat performance, at least in terms of the first match and Orgless being a part of it. However, as you said, Nuke it's a buy versus buy. If they slow themselves down, we did see them faltering a little bit there on Dust 2. If anything, this is where we're going to see a little bit of a misstep, potentially. Some, bungled playing, I don't know, really the first chance to get around the board. And Rattlesnake's going to be starting it off beautifully with the AWP. Takes down Weber without a second thought and gives Orgless the advantage right away.
And Rattlesnake doing exactly the same thing, so he steps out. They're actually playing 2 players out on the outside, and you know, Crucial was kind of distracted by PT, not expecting Rattlesnake to be playing all the way that far back. And you know, it does limit your options a little bit if a fast push comes in. It's pretty much just making sure that that outside rafters area is locked down. But with Crucial's threat, as we've seen, he's already opened up a couple of opportunities from there. So they are kind of right to be countering a single player for the time being and just try and slow down his progress. Of course, another option is you can drop someone out onto the air conditioning area, little flat roof bit just underneath Nest, which is a new addition to the map as Rattlesnake picks up his 3rd, taking down Connor. Probably got a call from Release, who does go down to the hands of Reason, who's jumping in today. Wasn't playing last night, so it's a first chance for us to see him in action in the playoffs, and already got 3 frags to his name. But it is the first round going on the board for Orgless, 3-1. It is in favour of Reason right now.
Yeah, it's just how long it's going to be staying that way. I mean, I thought that I thought we might be seeing something similar to last night, but if Orgless can continue the control they had in the last round, if they can just shut areas of that map off, use their aggression wisely, and, well, repeat what they did, they're going to be in a great place, and already we see them finding the first frag once again. PT onto Reason manages to start things off, manages to put them at another advantage, and potentially sets them up for the round win they so sorely need. If they can take this one, it's going to mean that Reason's economy is essentially smashed. I mean, it's not going to be completely hopeless. Connor does have a little bit of money on him, and there is a couple of other players sitting around that 1,000, 2,000 mark. But it's still going to be getting to a worrying level, and that's exactly the chance the CTs need to put some rounds on the board, to put some distance between themselves and the terrorists, and potentially start off that sort of dominant side you're looking for.
Yeah, that's got to be your goal. And with a few extra avenues that you can kind of defend from, it kind of gives you a few more options on CT side as well. We see Release, so he's up top. Now, those flashes have actually managed to flash off the Reason players. He now does have the angle, but he's in a bit of trouble now as he's getting pushed and has to fall away. And you know, sometimes you just got to try and sit off and allow teammates to come in and rotate, but that hasn't worked. And in the end, it's a 1v1 trade that came of that. But overall in the round, Orgless have a 4-3 advantage as we see Reason now dropping into the lower. They've got enough bodies to make this work, and you know, until they commit to that site, you're probably not going to see too much of a rotate coming in as such from these other guys. Crucial though, he's in a good spot with the AWP to be able to watch one of the vents. He's going to get action straight away and does pick up Pulse, one from the window as well. So he's already on low HP. Crucial misses a shot by a mile. The form he's in you wouldn't expect, but I think he's going to pick up the frag with a nade, and that's exactly what he does. So Crucial try to do some damage, but he's now 2v1, going to have to protect that bomb as best he can. Rattlesnake's open, Crucial ends up making the frag and he cleans it up. That is 4 kills for him, and it's the 4th round on the board for Reason Gaming. And who else? It's Crucial again, isn't it? It's going to be one of those days.
Yes, I mean, you put it perfectly. Who else? It's been 6 rounds, he's already on 10 frags. Actually, sorry, this is only round number 6. It's been 5 rounds, he's already on 10 frags. A similar performance to what we saw yesterday, and just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The rest of the team maybe not stepping up quite as much as they were yesterday, so maybe that's the chance for Orgless, but still, if I'm Orgless right now, I am definitely going to be worried, especially as it's going to be another round started off badly, another round where they didn't really have much equipment to go off in the beginning, another round where they lose that advantage early on, or lose that presence early on. It's going to be a 4 versus 5 situation from the offset once more, and I mean, what can they do? Reason are taking it slow. They're playing a paced out game. Crucial, really the only man showing heavy amounts of aggression, and it just puts Orgless in that situation. What do? They're going to have to split across the site and potentially give one up fairly easily, and Crucial's just going to continue working around finding those picks as they wait for the pushes to come in.
Yeah, and it just kind of highlights how a player in a free role that can just be a pure frag hunter can, you know, make all the difference. Again, he's got another one. Pulse does take him out in the end, and maybe this is half a chance for Orgless, but it's not going to be now. Rattlesnake goes down. Plant's going to be coming into the upper area, but you know, it's not the first time I've seen teams get unstuck by a single player. I won't talk about them too much as they've not been in the tournament, but I was at the last Epic LAN with Attic Gaming, and as got to just keep an eye on the team and a management type aspect. And there's a couple of times where the guys got unstuck by a single player who's just floating around the map and picking up frags. And it just feels like the way that teams set up, especially these teams that have got experienced campaigners, have been around for the best part of a decade, they just don't really set up for that, because you're not expecting someone to have that free roll. You kind of think, all right, well, they're going to try and peek this angle, and it feels like there are players. Crucial being a great example of it. Mighty Max, when he's in form on the other side, is another example where they're just changing up the style a little bit, and and really shaking things up, which is super exciting. And I think as time goes on, they have to try and deal with these players and counter the extra aggression that you're maybe not expecting.
And the issue is, how are you going to be countering Crucial without putting yourself in a bad position elsewhere? He changes what he does almost every round. We've seen a lot of outside presence so far. This round he is going to be playing towards ramp instead, and it looked like Release might have been in a position to find some frags there. Mighty Max as well, but it's only going to be one from the both of them as they get taken down. And a 4 versus 3 situation ensues once again. It's far from perfect. It means Reason have that advantage that they seem to keep being able to find, and again, they don't have to go anywhere fast. They can take it a little bit slow. They can waste some of the time. They can try and find any sort of angle they want to have for that little bit of security on the push. And Orgless just aren't doing anything about it. They're giving them the space to do all of these things.
Yeah, for sure, and it's tough because, as you say, how do you try and counter someone that's going ham on you? Well, you kind of have to take them on, especially when they're on T side, because unlike on CT, you might say, all right, well, let's just go somewhere else then, which again is a bit of a difficult one if they're floating around and playing that free role. But they've got to come to you. They've got to take you on, and Crucial and Weber make, again, fairly light work of the attempted retake, which seems a little feeble. It's kind of both pushed in from the same angle, and it's very easy for that to be dealt with, and Reason put themselves at a 6-1 advantage. And from what we know about Nuke, the few times that it does seem to get played, is that 6 rounds on T side is probably getting on for being enough to be able to put this thing together, especially if you pick up the pistol on CT side. But they're not going to do that. They want to turn the screw and pick this one up, which is basically going to be an eco bash, especially if Rattlesnake's tempted to try and walk through and maybe had the chance to make a frag there from the radio room, but doesn't take it and lives to fight another day as such. A couple of players working outside. Keita is going to have contact with Rattlesnake. He's going to take him out with very little trouble. So it's again Reason with the advantage. If they hadn't got the weapon advantage, they have a one-man advantage as well. Mighty Max up top, so he's going to get swarmed. Could maybe peek outside and deal with one of the players on rafters, but if he doesn't, he's going to have to deal with that when they go and push into him. Probably going to be an upper plant, most likely. Reason going to have someone popping out of vents right next to him as well, so he could potentially deal with that. And you could see the upper wide open, and Reason, he does deal with those 2 players. Pulse and PT makes very light work of them, in fact, and Crucial has got nest control. Mighty Max tries to pop back up, but he can't do anything. And looks like Crucial's got the number on Release as well. Knows where he is at least, and does pick it up with the Tech 9. And that is 15 frags for him. 7 rounds to 1 in favour of Reason Gaming, and they have complete map control right now.
They have complete control in almost every way, and honestly, something I was hoping to see in that round, and something I think I'm going to be hoping to see in general, is them taking advantage of that aggression Crucial seems to push with almost every round. If it's not every round, it's going to be every other round, and in a situation like the last round, it plays into the CT's hands. There's almost nothing that he can do if he gets caught out of position by pistols. This round, there's going to be rifles, and they're going to be doing a great job from the start. Orgless finally with the advantage, managed to find 3 in a matter of seconds. PT, Pulse, and Rattlesnake in this one, making light work of the Reason Gaming side, and leaving Weber and Reason as the last 2 players alive. They've got the bomb, they've got control of outside, but they are going to be finding a little bit of trouble from Release, I assume, soon. And, well, even if they don't, they're probably not the 2 players you'd want left in this situation if you could pick.
No, well, that's a good point, but I think so. Also, just to draw your attention to is how little cash the CTs have got. So if they make it expensive here, force a couple of rebuys, that's going to put an extra squeeze on it, and then the reset is a huge fear for Orgless. I've got to be careful of this. Don't want to end up throwing the next round away, and that's the reason. So he's down to 11, and they do have their number. Yeah, they've got them covered outside, and good spray down from Mike Max in the locker room adds 2 to his tally very quickly on the very softened Reason players, and it is now going to be a chance. You know, stack loads of cash for Reason Gaming. A lot of them have got sort of 6, 7. Reason, as he's now buying, has got 6k still left in the coffers. So these guys are good to keep going for another couple of rounds and pretty much see this thing out. For Orgless, though, a reset is going to be pretty shocking for them. I mean, a few of them can buy up, probably 3 of them, but you know, it's going to be scrubby, I think, and if that does happen, then you can almost wave goodbye to it. Their round score is going to be looking pretty weak if they want to try and bring this thing home.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I mean, sitting on 2 rounds at the moment, Orgless are looking, I'd say, a little bit out of shape on this map. Obviously, their pick, they want to be doing a little bit better than this, but Reason just seem to be able to put up a fight that they can't quite match. And I mean, we've been talking about him a lot over the past couple of days because he has been going off, and there's another example. Crucial, I think, is the difference maker right now. If you look at the rest of the players, they're all doing about the same in terms of frags, and obviously they're not the only stat that matters, but when somebody's going 16-5, when they're on about 3 times what the rest of their team has, it's worth mentioning. The rest of them, though, at the moment, showing that they definitely are contenders as well. However, in Reason, we're going to have to frag a piece in this round and trying to show, you know what, it's not a one-man show. We are all part of this team. We're all going to be doing good work. And again, it looks like it's another round on the board for them as a result. Crucial finds himself a second and leaves PT as the last man, trying to see what he can do, but out of position and out of luck. He's going to be up against 2 players wherever he goes. They've now got the bomb. They can head to whichever site they want, and it's going to be, I mean, almost certainly, I think, an 8th round.
Yeah, it's looking likely. I guess Crucial down on 19 points of health is something that might be of a benefit. Let's see where PT's going to set up. Can he get himself in a position to stop this plant from coming in? Because so Crucial's going to go up top. PT might be able to stop this plant from coming in. Actually, no, he's dropped himself down into lower, so just managed to miss time this one. And he is going to have to go for it as Crucial plants with 1 second left to go on the clock. So PT, let's see what you got. So Weber, half HP. Crucial, you know, much less than that. 1 nade would be enough, but PT gets hammered before he even steps out the vents, and you know, that does all the damage. Crucial adds another 3 to his tally. So first half 20 bomb is only 2 frags away, and yeah, he's just charging way ahead. And you know, for Orgless, it's going to be tough to figure out how you deal with this. Even if they don't end up picking up this one and manage to steal that Reasons map off them for the second, well, they're in this kind of form. A bit like we saw last night for Reason and what we did see against FM, just charging through teams on Dust 2, which is going to be the decider. You know, we could just see him do the same thing again, and you know, it's tough to look past Reason right now.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Orgless have to step up in this map. They have to step up in both of the first maps if they really want any sort of strong chance at winning this, I'd say, because I have to agree with you. Dust 2 was looking absolutely ridiculous for Reason last night before it did get cut short, and apparently even when it's not Dust 2, ridiculous things still happen. Connor with a beautiful opening shot in this one. A one-tap headshot to start things off, and it's going to be another advantage early on for Reason. It is a 4 versus 4, so less of an advantage than we have been seeing, but still going to be there, and it only gets furthered.
Yeah, it does. So 4v3, and Reason still have the numbers advantage, and now sit and see them looking on 8 rounds, probably soon to be 9 on their T side. Then that is more than enough to bring this thing home, you would suggest. And you know, as of right now, it's Reason's map to lose and their match to lose as well. Just looking at the whole context of how this has panned out so far, and you know, for Orgless, I was hoping that we'd see a more well, just a better performance all around than what we saw from them last night, but it seems like it's been a downward spiral for these guys over the last couple of weeks, and maybe before the end of this thing we'll get a chance to discuss that briefly and what the reasons for that might be. And you know, it really is shocking compared to how well they have been performing, as Weber picks himself up a couple of frags for Release does take him down. So I guess good work for them doing some economic damage if nothing else, but as you have a look at the finances for Reason Gaming, they are absolutely fine, and you know, I don't think that's going to cause any problems for them with the remaining 4 rounds that we got left. For Orgless, they are still struggling. Release has saved himself an AWP, but no one else has got anything, and they are going to have to go full eco on this one, try and buy up for the next. And it looks like Reason are in prime position to add it to double figures here.
I mean, realistically, even if Reason's finances were completely short, even if the T side had no money whatsoever, they'd still be in a good position to pick up this map right now. 9 rounds on your T side is phenomenal. And honestly, I'm not sure what it is with Orgless right now, but they just don't seem to be able to catch a break. Release, the man with the AWP goes in for the aggression early on, instantly shut down. That's the AWP out of their hands, and we see Rattlesnake trying to pick it up, getting shut down as well. So that's 2 players gone, and nothing particularly recovered. Finally, like, a couple of AWPs do come out as we see Pulse and PT both stood with one in their hands after the death of Crucial, but it's going to be down to Pulse at the moment. Him and Mighty Max finally doing something, and they've managed to secure a 2 versus 2. Could this be it? Well, it was looking a little bit more possible before that. Connor does come in, takes down Pulse, and puts it back into the 1 versus 1, back into the winnable situation for himself. Now taking that bomb down towards B site, making it look even more so. And Mighty Max needs to rotate soon. I mean, he doesn't have a kit, he doesn't have armor. All he's going to have to work with here on the retake is a flash and an AK. It's not looking all too promising.
No, it isn't. And from Connor, yeah, he's got the opportunity to get down to the other site. Probably had information that Mighty Max would have been round about the nest area. So, of course, you want to drag him out of there and bring him to lower. It just gives him so many options if he was up in nest to try and deal with an upper plant. And now he's got to try and pre-fire those corners. Hasn't got a kit either, so he's running out of time to try and make this thing work. And Connor does go for him in the end, thinking he might have sat on that thing. I'm going to see the same mistake as we saw last night. Where it was, I think Neil Zenio goes charging straight into the site for FM, gets it defused with 2 Reason players sitting around him. I think they learnt their lesson from that one, and Connor goes to check, picks up the round, 10-2, and despite Orgless showing a little bit of fight in that one, it goes the same way as pretty much every other round has gone so far, and it's all in direction of Reason. And it's tough to try and figure out how they can turn this around, to be honest, Brod, because it's all going their way, and Orgless just can't do anything to stop it, no matter what they try.
Yeah, I mean, I think a fair amount of it, and it always sounds bad to say this because it is just sort of one of those one of probably the more basic elements of CS, but they don't seem to be able to win the firefights. Unfortunately, as soon as it comes to a head-to-head engagement, as soon as it is 2 people staring at each other across the map, Reason tend to find that shot first, and if you can do that, then you're going to be doing a pretty good job altogether, but it might be Release with a chance this time. He manages to land the tag onto Connor to start things off and doesn't take too much damage himself. So no frag's going to be traded, but definitely a little bit of an advantage gained in health there. Crucial, though, now is just watching that angle like a hawk. He's got the AWP out. He's not giving anything away, and he's making sure that they can't get towards his team. Pulse, though, from the other side, going to be doing damage of his own. Finds himself the frag onto Reason and starts things off nicely for Orgless in this round. And they're going to be keeping that advantage going consistently now. This could be round number 3 on the board. The issue is it's hard to get too excited over that, because even if they manage to find 4 and 5, they're still going to be, well, in a dire position moving through to the next half.
Oh yeah, they sure are, and already the Orgless economy is still feeling the strain from it, and to throw some buys around there, up against it, and that possible reset could come in. It's only going to affect them for 1 round, but they need every single round that they can get, and the reset is not what they're looking for. And you can see for the first time Reason having to get forced into a bit of a scrubby buy. So we've got a Deagle and Tech9, but Crucial is going to open things up straight away. He's got an AWP in hand, and he uses that to great effect to take down Rattlesnake. He's still waiting for his 20 bomb. 1 more frag will bring that thing home, and it was a few rounds since we talked about that. So he's pulled down just a little bit. But Keita, with the frag down to lower, has picked himself up that weapon on PT as they catch him. Released in the window, so his position will now be known. It's easy for them to now swarm him as Weber takes him out, and that is a very good trade. 4-2 in favour of Reason Gaming. They've got full control of the lower, aside from Mighty Max, but a plant to the back would maybe be enough. But Pulse is also there patrolling, so maybe it's a chance to Reason to think, should we go upper? We think about it, and they've still got time with a minute left to go on the clock to check their angles, and Pulse is given away in position, so they will be hunting him now. He's got 2, and Mighty Max has taken down Weber in the meantime, so it's all down to Crucial with the AWP in hand. This is for his 20 bomb. And can he bring glory to his team as well in this? His position's been known in the vents. He's given himself away. Still got 40 seconds to work with, but he's got to get out and try and make these 2 frags. Doesn't happen. Pulse picks up his 3rd, and really nice lockdown of the lower area. It was very defensive. It's kind of like trying to hold off a farm from zombies. They're coming in from all angles, but he holds fast and stands his ground and ends up picking it up. Avoids the reset as well, so nice work there from Orgless, and it's going to be a full Tech 9 buy from Reason, so it's like they're going to struggle to add to the 10 rounds that they've put together on this T site.
Yeah, I mean, what's that for a last round buy? 4 Tech 9s, a Deagle, and a little bit of utility. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what they can get done with it, because even with the Tech 9 in hand, Crucial's going to be heading straight to outside. This seems to be one of his favourite areas on the map. It seems to be somewhere he can create a lot of plays, he can show a lot of presence, but definitely the weapons they're holding right now not the most favourable for the situation, so they're just going to have to hope things go in their favour, and at the moment, it's not happening whatsoever. 4 frags in a matter of seconds, and there's the 5th. Rattlesnake release and Pulse going off in that round, clearing everybody up, and I think only taking 16 points of damage across them in that time, so it is going to be 10-5, as you stated, Mark, and I mean, it's a nice showing from Orgless towards the end. You've just got to think, what if they found that form a little bit sooner? What if they found that form, maybe not right off the bat, but maybe, I don't know, 3rd gun round? What sort of a different game could we be seeing, and how much would it change what we might be seeing here? Because right now we're going to be in a situation where, should Reason win this pistol, they've potentially put themselves in a position where that game is going to be theirs fairly quickly indeed.
Yeah, and pistol CT side on Nuke is very winnable, especially if you've got players with silenced USPs that know how to use them.
Wait, could they see each other? Is that a glitch on my thing? Yeah,
no, that's the thing.
Pulse and Kita. Yeah, should have gone to Specsavers, I reckon. They need to get their eyes checked a little bit because they were staring right at each other, but it doesn't matter too much for Pulse. It is going to be Orgless picking up so many frags in this round, finding themselves that site and closing it out as well. Sorry, I was a little bit blindsided by that. How does that happen?
Shoot him. Shoot him. Please shoot him. Come on. Yeah, it's one of those, but end up panning out well for Orgless, and they're taking a bit of a leaf out of Reason Games, but they just charged en masse, and they were hunting in packs. They were sort of catching these players one by one, and Connor, I saw him getting swarmed by a couple of players around about the outside. He tried to just drop out a nest and avoid some of the pressure, but it didn't come of anything. And then we got a bit of an upgrade here, so we've got CZ and PT. Oh, he picks up Kita. I don't know quite how he managed that. There was kind of a spinning thing going on, but Weber gets one. Crucial gets one, and Crucial's got his 2nd as well as he takes down PT, running backwards again on the defensive, but he's able to find a headshot out of it, and it's 4v2 in favour of Reason Gaming, so this is going to make things suddenly pretty interesting. August will see how are they doing. They're not going to be able to force this one up if they don't lose it, so they're going to have to go back onto another eco, you would expect, unless they want to try and upgrade their pistols, but they do have ramp room control with a minute left to go on the clock, so a bit of time to work with. They can get up and into Nest potentially, try and make a challenge there, and if you get Nest and Rafter control, gives you the option to get into a maybe Mighty Max, so he could have a face. He goes and steps through, and Connor, oh, he nearly came out at a perfect time when Mighty Max was looking away, but no such luck. Crucial then comes up to bolster, so footsteps would have been called. That's probably Connor doing the intel work, and now Crucial comes up to back up, does get one frag before he's taken down, but here's Mighty Max, last man standing. His position will now be known as he makes his way onto the site. 30 seconds left to go on the clock, goes to the plant, but Connor in the hut does take him down. 1 HP hero, can he bring it home? 20 seconds left to go, and it's 1v1 with Weber trying to hunt him down.
Well, fortunately, Weber's in a pretty good position to be playing this. He can find his way into heaven. He can create the fight from there, but Mighty Max is already watching it. So he's just got to play this perfectly. He's waiting for that bomb plant. He hears it come out, and now the bomb's been planted. That's the confirmation he needed. He knows the man has to be somewhere around the site, and he will have been told by his teammates all he needed was the one shot. Still, I'd say a little bit too close for comfort there, with, what, 12 HP remaining on him at the end of the round, but he does manage to pick it up. He does manage to bring things back for Reason to find that 11th round, and that is crushing for Orgless. That is absolutely heartbreaking. They come in with the 2nd pistol round, you're thinking, yep, we're going to be seeing them hit 8 immediately, and then we're going to have potentially a really close game until finish, but Reason just comes straight back through, take their economy down to the point where, yes, they can upgrade their pistols, but it's not going to really be much more than that, and start potentially to pick up some more rounds, and with the buy they have, you'd be expecting to see just that. You got a FAMAS, you got an M4, you got the saved AK. Connor even going for the XM10 whatever, the auto shotty, and an MP9 on Keita. They're going to be in a perfect position to just shut down anybody who comes their way right now. All of these weapons are going to be so effective. There's not much armor. This should be an easy round, although, as we saw in the last, easy rounds don't always go your way, so maybe, just maybe, there's a chance.
Yeah, you never know. Try and take on some of those bankroll builder guns, but Keita looks like he might have the chance straight away, and he's being patient. Actually, he's going to bait these players to come out. Mighty Max didn't look up, so he wasn't going to make that frag, and I think the plan for that was basically wait for a couple of them to come out and, you know, kind of let the little fish go to try and catch the big fish later kind of thing, and it ends up working out in the end. They do get out into the upper, but, you know, so often you get one flash into the upper area and it completely wipes out your team, whether you're on CT side defending it or you're on T side, and it's a retake situation. Rattlesnake, so he's last man, and his position will be known, but for a reason they'll be happy just to keep that bomb locked down where it was dropped in the upper site. They've got it pretty much under control, and I think for Rattlesnake, he might just have to think about saving that AK. Not because he needs the money as such, because he can rebuy, and I think the rest of the team will be able to as well, but it's more just trying to kickstart the money a little bit, and actually he's tempted. He's going to go for it. Just get another frag as well, so he's going to try and blitz them. Yeah, I think so, but Keita's able to pick it up. 200% kill bonus with that MP9 in hand. Swaps up for an AK, and that's played pretty well into the hands of Reason, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you might as well have gone for it if you're Rattlesnake. Thinking about it, he had a little bit of money. He was going to have money whatever happened in this round.
Yep.
And realistically, saving the AK would have just allowed him to buy the same stuff. But, I don't know, just a little bit safer for him. He decides, you know what, going to go for the frags, finds one, can't take any more, and that's unfortunate. It does mean that Orgless are still sitting on 6 as Reason find 12. And they have to start something now. They have to start something soon. This should be the opportunity. But it's going to take an entry, and that's something they have been struggling to find so far. And again, nobody's showing themselves. There's not even anybody for them to find without getting aggressive. Whenever they do, Reason shut them down, although Pulse, he manages to find a trade at the beginning. Maybe that's what they need. If they can just refrain from dying for a second, if they can find some more frags, this could well be their round. And Pulse is trying to make it happen for his team. He's already put 2 on the board, and now they have the advantage. They can do exactly what Reason were doing on their T side, slow things down, think about where they want to go, and then just fold on a site. And it could well work for them.
Yeah, potentially. And when you're playing T-side nuke, it's all about winning your battles and, you know, getting your entry picks. And Connor, so he's getting aggressive. He's got a chance for one. He doesn't make the second. They release with the AWP. Tough spot there. Close quarters in the hut, but they also catch Reason up top, walking around, and, you know, he's trying to get himself into a half-decent position to deal with this upper push. He doesn't make it, and said he leaves himself completely exposed out in the open. So Weber, last man against 2. Release. He's going to be a tough prospect with that AWP because of the damage it does, and there you go. But, you know, if you're dealing with an AWP close quarters, sometimes you can get lucky with a spray down if they miss that shot. Release doesn't. Couple of close quarters kills for him. Good AWP work, and, you know, Orgless do end up picking up another round. So 12-7. You know, Reason back down into the pistols, and I think we might have a bit of a game on here now.
Yeah, you're quite right. This is Orgless' chance to catch up if they can continue finding rounds. I think especially at this point, if they can pick up their pace a little bit, they're going to be in a great way. And this round, they decided they're going to be taking outside control. A smart thing to do against the pistols. It allows you to keep that distance while gaining more control on the map. And they've managed to do both of those things. They have full reign, or sorry, free reign of Cat. And I think that's going to be leading towards a hit into the A side of the moment. Rattlesnake are on something, just looking at his teammates apparently, but finally they find a CT, and PT does manage to start things off. Connor and Reason, though, keeping their team in it, do manage to find a couple of frags, and Weber comes straight back in as soon as they get shut down. So even when Reason are on about the least possible, they still put up a fight. Weber, now the last man left alive, just sitting in the smoke near vent, hoping that nobody comes his way, because if they do, he knows he's toast. But if they don't realize he's there, if they push him without thinking about it, it's a chance for a frag. As it stands, it's going to be a Molotov in front, and again, just having to hope they don't figure out what's going on, but he decides to go for the peak. And that spells the end of him. I had to try and do something. Unfortunately, with what he had, it was impossible. Either way, a decent amount of economic damage done, I'd say, that round. Reason come in, find 3 frags off the back of very little indeed, and it's a scary prospect. When a team can do that with pistols, it shows you what sort of form they're on. This round, they've got pistols up again. Who says we don't see something similar? And then all it's going to take is 1 gun round, and Orgless are back to nothing.
Yeah, that is a very good call, and suddenly it's finally in the balance, and here we could have a flawless victory. They've gone straight into upper, and they're kind of playing at Reason's pace, I guess, on T side, if you want to call it that, and they're not relying on a single player having to go charging out, making a couple of frags. It's just going on mass into a site, clearing it out, getting the plant, and then dealing with the potential retakers, exit frags, etc. as they go. Crucial, he's walking through, so might be able to potentially find someone, grab himself a weapon. Connor as well in the locker room. I think he's got someone sort of getting interested in him, kind of like a shark that's checking out potential prey. And Connor just didn't have the firepower. He had pulse from one, didn't end up picking it up. Same thing for Crucial, no firepower against the AK. Rank for PT, and it is going to be 12-9 in favour of Orgless. So chance for them to get on the bye, chance for Reason to get on the bye as well. And as you say, if Orgless pick this one up, then the deficit is it's very low, and they're keeping the pressure on Reason's economy.
Yeah, I mean, everything was sort of up in the air in the last round. This round seems a lot more decisive. I mean, Orgless coming off the last one clean does help them out in a big way, and it does mean that whatever happens this round, they should be able to field another bye. They can continue to keep that pressure on, and you're quite right, it's an important part of what they're doing here. They don't want Reason to ever feel comfortable on their CT side. It's their territory, it's their map. Orgless, of course. Reason shouldn't be getting comfortable. So, I don't know. They're going to be starting this one off slow again, though, and these rounds have historically, I think, been the ones that they've done a little bit worse in. Just because I think Nuke's one of those maps where finding that opening pick is probably one of the most difficult parts. Once you've got it, once you've got the numbers advantage, you can work a lot of angles. But until then, especially if the CTs are playing extremely passive, getting that start is going to be the main focus. At the moment, they're just going to be heading straight out towards A, though. They don't wait for the start, and Pulse does manage to trade things back, but Keita, a dominant presence at the moment towards this A side, playing from rafters, finding frag after frag, and when he's not doing that, opening up room for Crucial to go big. Another round on the board for Reason, off the back of a double up setup, and Orgless, I don't know what they were trying to do there. They fell in without much of a plan as far as I could see. They didn't have much coverage with nades. They didn't have too many flashes going out. They just essentially went, you know what? We're running a little bit low on time. Maybe a little bit impatient. Let's push through and see what we can do in terms of trades, and it doesn't work out.
No, they kind of stalled a little bit. Keita up top, so he picked up 1 frag straight off the bat, and the second player coming through tried to pick him up and didn't. Crucial now, he gets a little more aggressive and takes down Rattlesnake, so straight away that's him out of the play. And Reason now, he's done some pretty good work from round about that squeaky door, and on both sides, on the T and the CT side, and Keita now, so he's up on the rafters doing some damage. Release able to walk straight out and take Reason from behind. I don't think anyone was really expecting that. And Release, he's got 2 players now. He's taken Weber out of Nest, who didn't seem to really even challenge him. And now Crucial goes down, so we're back into a 2 versus 2. And we've got Connor trying to come in from behind now, do what he can. Keita, same thing. He's given away his position on the rafters. And as instead got fall back into Nest, and hammers Release from behind as he drops vents. So they know exactly where this plant's going to be coming in. And it's a chance for them both to come in from the ramp room. Release, if he's smart, he's going to tuck himself in through the corridors and make them try and chase him. And in fact, I think they both need to do the similar kind of thing. Connor's Molotov goes to nothing. And I've got to try and hunt him down. Mighty Max is sitting there in the smoke, and he's giving away his position. Keita picks him up at 4% for him. Only 4 points of health. Release comes in, stops the defuse, and Orgless trade is straight back. So, wow, we've got a game on here. Who would have thought?
Well, I mean, you've said it before, and I have to agree with you again. Things are hotting up. Things are getting closer in terms of rounds, in terms of frags, in terms of everything. I mean, Pulse has managed to catch up with Crucial. And he's actually sitting slightly better at the moment as he has 1 less death. So the man who did so much in the first half, who was looking so dominant, having a bit of a slow start to the second, having a bit of a slow run on his CT side, and it looks set to continue as Orgless just push straight through onto the A side and start something off. Crucial does manage to find 1, as does Connor, but it's not quite going to be enough. as it is now just Weber looking to see if he can do anything from heaven. He's got the deagle. He spots a player out, but it's going to be hard to find that frag. It's going to be hard to do too much because they now have a lock on his position. They're just going to be dumping nades up there. And when they're not doing that, watching it for when he peaks.
It's very quick. Weber does manage to get PT with the dig. Nice and crisp there, but that is all that they managed to get out of it. And Reason still keeping a slender 2-round advantage. And this is tough. I'm trying to work out what they can do to try and deal with this. Well, at the moment, Orgless are going in pretty much charging straight into the sites when they do execute on it. And they are maybe a little bit one-paced. And I'm trying to think how you can deal with that. Well, I think the first thing that Reason needs to start thinking about is slowing that pace down. Maybe saving that utility, and instead of going for the nades or going for the frag, go for a flash and drop off, maybe make use of the nest, and crucial. So he's trying to do what he can. He's got players swarming all around him, but he has taken one out straight away. For Weber, though, he's there backing up, and that trade has worked out in favour of Reason Gaming. So 4 versus 3. Not a real problem for Orgless as such, because if they're going en masse into a site as they have been, they probably have the numbers advantage in that site 3 for 2. And then they've got to try and deal with the rotators beyond there. So, it's not the end of the world. Generally, it's better if you're going to lose someone, lose them on T side than you would on CT, as we've talked about so many times. And Saint has a chance to maybe bring it even. Misses Weber by a mile, and he's given away his position. So maybe Reason going to just wait for things to simmer down for maybe 5-10 seconds before he then peaks and tries to deal with Rattlesnake. But there's nowhere he can go fast from there at the time being.
And the thing is, I think something Reason have figured out over the course of this map, over the course of their CT side, is the more passive they play, the more frags they seem to find. If they try and take that aggressive route against Orgless, 9 times out of 10 they're going to be getting shut down. But at the moment, Rattlesnake's doing the work regardless of the situation. He manages to find himself one. He manages to find himself the second onto Weber, and keeps him and Release in this game for just a little bit longer. Actually manages to even it out to a 2 versus 2 himself. And gives them definitely a little bit of a chance to contend in this round. Keita and Reason, they're going to be pushing in from opposite sides at the moment. Figuring out where they're going to go. And I mean, it's probably the best way to do it. Unfortunately, Keita can't do much before he gets obliterated. And Rattlesnake finds his 3rd. Another round on the board for Orgless. Now just 1 away from Reason's score. And I don't know what's happened, Mark.
Well, Orgless, welcome to the party. First time we've been saying that for a couple of weeks from some of their recent performances, but they have now turned up to play. And I think one thing, not to take too much away from them, but what they're doing isn't particularly complex on this nuke. It's largely going in en masse, locking things down, and then spreading out. And there we go. Now they're making the opening pick on the outside again. Keita trying to mix things up. Crucial again, changing his position to try and give them a different angle after he got swarmed from round about the red containers last time. But now it's an easy drop down into lower. PT just drifting about the map, dealing with the upper players, and he's got 2 from there very quickly. And they just can't handle this. It's kind of like the same things happening in reverse. And, going en masse with T weapons seems to be a good way to go, and it's difficult to really try and match that.
I mean, do you potentially think that this is sort of the reason that Orgless picked Nuke, though? Do you reckon because of the trouble they had yesterday, they decided, you know what, we're not the most confident on it? Obviously, their CT side wasn't formed whatsoever. It was sort of a half-baked CT side, but do you reckon they went, you know what, Reason CT side is potentially going to be the same or worse? It gives us the perfect chance to come into the game in the second half. Or whichever half it had happened to be. This time, though, Reason are definitely putting up a fight. Going to be a 2 versus 2 situation. Weber and Connor versus PT and Release. The only real favor Orgless have at the moment is they have that bomb on site, but it's going to get dropped. Connor coming through from vents, manages to do the damage before falling back. He spots the second man out as well. Can't quite take the frag on that one. But Weber is there to clean things up. But yeah, basically what my line of thought is with this, it's Orgless basically going, okay, we have to just bet at this point that their nuke is worse than ours. That they know less about this map than us, that they've put less hours in on it, and I think you're quite right. I think we have seen the same thing in reverse a few times, just purely because neither of these teams have solid CT sides.
Yeah, in answer to the question, I think yes. I think that's exactly what they've gone with here, and just tried to throw something in the mix. And maybe they've been putting in a bit of time into Nuke, but I guess I would maybe be a little critical of that because it's a bit of a gamble, and you would hope that everyone kind of is familiar with all of the maps. And it kind of surprises me how unfamiliar perhaps some of the teams are with the likes of Nuke and Train. When back in the days of Source, a lot of these players who were around in the Source days and playing at a decent level would have known the likes of Cobble, Nuke, Train, Inferno, etc., because it would appear in the map pool as we see a plant goes in for Orgless. So 2v2 retake, and this could be either overtime guaranteed for Reason or 14 all, and it could come right down to the wire. So we shall see. Connor maybe has some information on Release, but he doesn't manage to pick up the frag. Crucial does get one, so 1v1 Crucial versus Release. Crucial doesn't have a kit, so he doesn't have time to be messing around, and Orgless bring it to even. 14-14 it is. And yeah, this is getting pretty tense.
Yeah, it really is. This one could swing either way right now, but it definitely looks like Orgless are going to be in with an almost guaranteed shot at finding that 15th round, and if they manage to pick that one up, then 16th should come easily. Reason dumping a lot of economy into this one. They don't want to fight for overtime here. They want to be taking it in regulation, and what they're going to be relying on to do that is going to be the CZs and the 5.7s once more. We've seen a lot of success with these weapons. It's just what they can do past that. Crucial, he's probably been the main man to watch in rounds like this, and in this one, he is taken out almost immediately. Cut right down, and unfortunately, it looks like the rest are to follow. Connor dropped quite quickly indeed. Keita goes down as well as Orgless make their way through to that B site, and what are Weather and Reason really going to be doing here? Yeah, exactly. I'd wager not a whole lot. It's just going to be Reason left, seeing what he can get done with his CZ, but quickly running out of bullets, quickly running out of health, and a clean round for Orgless to take them to match point. It's worrying. It's worrying because it does mean that I think we're going to be seeing Orgless pick this one up 16-14. And moving on to the next map in a position where Reason have to fight for their lives. And me and you were both saying, Mark, towards the beginning of this game, realistically, if Orgless want a chance in this, they're going to be looking at the first two maps most likely.
I'm going to counter that. I think, yeah, you could have a point, but the way that Orgless are playing this, it kind of smacks of how Reason went about their Dust 2. And you would think that maybe they'll end up countering each other on that map again. They will both probably play quite aggressive on their T side. In the form that they're in, both sides are showing that they could make their picks. So, Dust 2 might end up being a much more even affair than we saw when FM were taking on Reason last night, where it was pretty much like they were relying on situations where they could slow things down to their pace, and things like retakes, for example, or when they could get hold of their mid controls. So, I think Orgless might be slightly better matched to face Reason on Dust 2, on the form they're in. But I know we were talking about the predictions based on what we've seen from them in the recent couple of weeks, where they haven't shown enough of this. So, we could be in for a cracking three-mapper here, but Crucial, he might be able to bring this thing home. Can he take it to overtime? Can he fly solo on it? They're chasing him down, and it's a bit of a spray down, but they do pick it up, and that's the important thing as the drop now comes in. Reason going to follow his teammate through the fence, and they've got a player up in the nest. That's Mighty Max. He's going to do what he can. He's already dented one. He's taken Connor out as well, and nice work there. And maybe they're thinking about wrapping back into upper, and that's exactly what they are doing. With 30 seconds left to go, and these CTs, they are charging to try and get in. Weber's already committed onto the lower site, so he's going to have to come back. Reason's 15 points of health. Pulse is on 13 for Orgless, and he's the bomb carrier. Gets that thing down. Reason isn't able to stop him, but he does get an easy kill before giving away his position into the vents. And Weber maybe going to think about popping, and that smoke is going to slow his progress down. I think they know he might be coming from that direction, and it looks like this is going to be Orgless bringing it home. 16-14. Weber goes down to Mighty Max. Reason 50 HP hero. What can he do? Not a whole lot. And Orgless take it 16-14. So who would have predicted that at the start?